The next presentation comes online as a video. Can you please start it? It comes from the Committee Against Bird Slaughter.
Hello there, dear colleagues and dear participants of the EuroKite midterm conference. I hope you had a fruitful and successful meeting so far. My name is Axel Hirschfeld. I'm working for CAPS, Committee Against Bird Slaughter here in Germany. And our role within the EuroKite project is to give advice and to work on all cases where birds are being found dead and it is being thought that foul play might play a role. And by saying foul play, I mean illegal raptor persecution in Germany. And I will explain to you in the next roughly 30 minutes. We will try to answer the next five basic questions to you. Number one is, how big is the problem? And number two is, what species are affected by the problem? And we will have a look at the map and see if we can identify any black spots, any certain areas in Germany which can be regarded as hotspots areas for these types of crime. And we will see who profits, who is actually doing this, who are the perpetrators. We will have a look at some cases where we have successful convictions. And at the end of the day, we will also have a look at the quality of enforcement by analyzing data such as dark figure conviction rates, and also by having a look at some recent verdicts from the courts here in Germany. Birds of prey and the law in Germany. Let's do this very short. There are no big differences between Germany and other countries here. It's all based actually on the Birds Directive. All birds of prey species, no matter how common or how rare they are all strictly protected by law in Germany. All types of killing them, no regard of the method, is forbidden in Germany, and the fines and penalties can go up to 50,000 euros and up to 5 years imprisonment. Of course, depends on the severity of the case and on other factors. We will address these factors later on. And important to notice that also the attempted killing or attempted trapping is also a criminal offense. So you don't actually need to catch a goshawk. It's enough if, for example, as a poultry farmer, you just set out an active trap, bait it, and set it on active, then you're already a case for the police or the courts here in Germany. Speaking about the police, the body who is enforcing these laws is the normal police in Germany. And compared to other or most other European countries, we do not have here a specialized police unit in Germany, and which is specialized in wildlife crime. For example, the forest police, Carabinieri Forestali in Italy, or the wildlife crime officers in the UK. Let's come, and I will give you a short introduction into EDGAR. EDGAR is short for Erfassungs- und Dokumentationsstelle für Greifvogelverfolgung und Artenschutzkriminalität, the German monitoring scheme for cases of raptor persecution. And our main task is to document all known cases and to collect as many data as are available from each case. And of course, we are also doing own investigations after receiving information from the public. And of course, in these cases, we are also doing our own reports to the police, as we also did recently with a case from the EuroKite program. And another very important aspect of our campaign is raising public awareness by, e.g., informing the local media about the case, and also sometimes setting out rewards for information which lead to successful conviction of the perpetrators. So first, data I'm going to present you is very basic. It's the number of cases we are registering every year. You see that it's more or less around 80, 90 cases on average every year, with a peak in 2015, where we nearly had 160 cases. This peak is a bit explainable through the fact that this year was the year of the goshawk. It was the bird of the year in 2015, and together with NABU BirdLife Germany, we had a large campaign which led to a lot of additional information and tip-offs from the public, which are probably the reason why 2015 is so extraordinary high. Yeah, very important for you to know is also that in different shades of blue, we have also added the amount of the various methods, and you can see that in nearly all years, capture, poisoning, and shooting are the main factors, and that other persecution methods, are mostly insignificant. And what you also can, what you can't see actually because it's hidden, is the dark figure, which we will come later. But this is only, just to remind you, these are only the cases which have become known. This has nothing to do with the number of cases actually committed. So if you plot everything all this on a map of Germany on district base, you will first find out that out of the 401 states and cities in Germany, 302 are actually affected. And this is 15 of 16 federal states. The only one which we have no case reported yet is the city of Bremen. And another important number is that these are 1,653 cases, but the number of birds killed in these cases is actually much higher. It's 2,238 birds. Explainable because we have some cases where we have a large number of victims, especially poisonings. And there are other cases where we have only 1 or 0 victims. For example, if only the trap is being confiscated and there is no bird inside yet, it's still a case. But fortunately, there is no victim yet to be registered. So this table shows the individuals being killed on species basis. And of course, you can see that these are a total of 2,238 birds. And as you can see, 327 of them are red kites. And as you can see clearly here from these 327 birds, 253 were actually poisoned, and compared to 11 trapped and 26 shot individuals, which clearly shows that poisoning is the problem #1 for the red kite here. And other species which are also very, let's say, sensitive to poisoning are, for example, the marsh area, where you have 18 out of 37 cases with poisoning. And of course, you also can see that the goshawk here is a species of special concern, because it is a species which is producing a lot of conflicts due to its way of hunting and its prey range. So there's a total of 211 goshawks being registered as victims, and you can see that most of them are being trapped. And the same goes for other birds, such as the white-tailed eagle. We have a total of 68 birds, and here we have 0 birds being trapped. It's very hard to trap a white-tailed sea eagle, but it's easy to poison them. As you can see here, 41 of the 68 birds recorded have been poisoned. And as you can also see, we have also various species of owls being targeted, especially also the eagle owl, which is being accused by some, especially by hunters, to cause the loss of pheasants and hares and other smaller games, and which is being persecuted, to get rid of this concurrence. So we will now go through the various methods and show you some case examples and some pictures which show you how we were able to identify which method was being used. The first and most easy of all is shooting, of course. And it's very easy to determine if a bird is being shot or not if you put it under an X-ray. And if the bird is shot with a normal shotgun, you can see the lead pellets, all these little shiny light dots here. These are all lead pellets. So this bird is literally riddled with lead pellets. Here also you have, clearly you can see that the corpse is being filled with lead pellets. Sometimes you don't even need an X-ray to determine if a bird has been shot or not. You can see that there is an entrance wound, and on the back there's another wound where an exit wound of the bullet. Depends on which ammunition was used. Sometimes you also have these typical X-rays where you have this mushroom-like projectile, which is pointing towards air rifles. So a very prominent and recent case of shooting is the shooting of a white-tailed eagle, which was shot close to the city of Salzwedel in eastern Germany in last year. Actually, this was a Eurokite bird, which has been tagged by Rainer Raab a couple of years ago. And as you can see, in February, the bird suddenly stopped moving. And as you can also see here on the temperature, you can see that around this time it was pretty clear to say the bird was dead, as his body temperature was much, much lower than it should be. And you can definitely say that at this point, when it went below zero, the bird was dead. Nevertheless, the data also showed that despite the bird being dead, it still moved, or it was being moved. This was the first indication actually that there was foul play, and so Eurokite Rainer sent people there to get the bird, but they first of all they only found the tag, which has been bound on a piece of wood and sent down a river by who did this, probably the one who shot the bird. And by analyzing the data more closely, it could be determined that the bird was shot and then taken to the house of the local hunter, who was also responsible for that hunting estate. And when confronted with these data, he immediately admitted of having shot the eagle, and he also led the Eurokite team and the authorities to the place where he dumped the shot eagle, because at this point in time only the GPS tag has been found. So the bird then was found and also immediately, of course, put under an X-ray machine, which also here confirmed that the bird was shot with a projectile, which was destroyed on impact, and you can see a lot of small metal fragments inside the body of this bird. And due to the fact that the hunter admitted to everything, he was prosecuted, and he was finally successfully convicted. And I think a couple of weeks ago, we have been informed by the state attorney that he had to pay a fine of 1,800 euro, and he also lost his hunting license. So next method I'm going to talk with you about is the illegal capture of birds of prey with net traps and cage traps. As you can see here on the picture, there are loads of various types of traps which are being used. For example, here these Larsen COVID traps, other traps where you have a metal gate which is falling down if the bird, lured here by this lift pigeon decoy, is climbing in here. This is a smaller form of Larsen trap, but with the same method. You have cage traps and other form of lift traps, who are all capable of trapping birds of prey. And other examples, some and often these installations are being found near hunting heights. Here you can see an example where a plastic pigeon is actually used as a decoy. So the number of methods is nearly endless. And yeah, to give you a short example of a successful conviction, this is an active cage trap for goshawks placed close to a pheasant tree, which is like a real big aviary for decoys, and which is of course attracting a lot of goshawks and other birds of prey. And so this trap has been found by our teams, and due to the police investigations, a hunter could be convicted, to have set up these traps, and he had to pay 3,500 euros penalty. And the interesting information in this case is that it was not a normal hunter, but he was a member of the council of the hunting association of the federal country of North Rhine-Westphalia here. Next case study is the same type of trap, or a similar type of trap, also baited here with a live pigeon decoy, and which has been found on the island of Usedom last year. And this is an example where, from our point of view, the authorities did not do their job well, because this, despite the guy admitting to having set up the trap, he said that he's not using the trap to catch birds of prey. He wanted to catch young pigeons who do not find the way back into the loft. And so the state attorney believed that and let him go without any conviction. So we're not happy about that case. Another case where we are very happy about the results is the successful conviction of an irresponsible hunter. As you can see here, this is the setup. This is how our teams found the whole situation in December last year. Goshawk trapped in such a larval COVID trap, and we immediately informed the police, and they told us that they are waiting us here on a nearby countryside road, which means to pick up the officers and bring them here to the trap. We needed to leave this site and go there. And in the meantime, we decided to leave a trail camera there. And I will now show you what this trail camera has filmed while we were picking up the officers.
Mittwoch, 7. Dezember 2022. Wir sind hier im Niedersachsen, im Emsland, und haben hier eine illegale Greifvogelfalle gemeldet bekommen, und es ist ein Habicht drin.
Alter! Ja, den habe ich totgeschlagen. Ja, den habe ich totgeschlagen.
Hast du das gefilmt?
Ja.
Hast du das gefilmt?
Ja.
Ha?
Ja.
Okay, let's go.
Ja, den habe ich totgeschlagen.
Polizei da?
Vor der Polizei. Vor den Augen der Polizei.
Ja?
Ja.
Okay, Marvin, was ist das? Ist das der Habicht von eben?
Das ist ein diesjähriges Habichtweibchen. Frisch erschlagen. Noch keine Totenstarre.
Wer hat das gemacht?
Der Vogel ist auch noch warm. Das war die Person, die gerade hier die Fallen kontrolliert hat.
Okay, und Sie haben den auch dabei gefilmt, wie er den Vogel erschlägt?
Wir haben ihn dabei gefilmt, wie er den Vogel gegen die hintere Stoßstange seines Autos schlägt.
Gut, Polizei hat den auch da vorne. Sieht man die beiden Polizeibeamten, die den Beschuldigten jetzt auch.
So you can see this case caused a lot of stir in the local media, and so everybody reported about this. And finally, With this, evidence served on a silver plate for the authorities, they were able to convict him and also to successfully prosecute him. And he had to pay 3,500 euros. And as he also was a hunter, he also lost his hunting license. Another type of traps are leg hold and steel traps, which in contrast to the other traps I presented to you are killing or at least severely injuring the animals, and especially if they, birds of prey, land there and some of them get their feet removed by these traps. So this is also in terms of animal welfare a very problematic thing. And these traps are still widespread. And the last case we had was in January this year. You can see here this poor common buzzard landed in this big trap, and unfortunately its injuries were so severe that it had to be put down. And I'm not sure, I think investigations are still continuing. It was within this poultry farm here in Western Germany. And I'm not sure if the police will be able actually to prove that the owner of this poultry farm also set the trap. We will see. Just to give you an idea where these traps come from, there is no possession and sale of these traps are totally legal in Germany, which is kind of a problem because you can buy them everywhere at the internet. You can see here a very famous hunting outfitter here is offering these leg hold traps, but it's also offering, for example, goshawk traps and net traps and other traps, which are all illegal to use in Germany. Last but not least, especially for people who are interested in red kites, I want to talk with you about poisoning cases. You can see here that in some cases there is more than one bird affected. This is one case here from the area of Euskirchen, close to where I live, where at least 3 birds of prey, 3 red kites have been killed by carbofuran bait. This is another case, but this is a hare bait which has been freshly prepared and which has been found shortly afterwards. So you can still see the blue grains, the blue granulat which is being used. And the lab at the end also confirmed that this blue granulat was carbofuran. And of course, one very strong indication that the bird has been poisoned is if you can really see that he has eaten shortly before his death. Here, this red kite still has some of its last supper, of its last meal hanging out of his bill. The same goes to this common buzzard. And also all these 2 birds, of course, later have been confirmed poisoned. And if you have the suspicion of poisoning, you always have to be very careful, wearing gloves, and do not touch the bird because the poisons which are being used are normally also very dangerous to humans, such as all these carbamates and E605 and others. So sometimes not only meat baits are being used, sometimes also eggs are being poisoned, and of course not only birds of prey, also other species such as herons sometimes end up being killed by these baits. Another phenomenon which we observe is the phenomenon of kamikaze pigeons, which are actually live pigeons, which feathers are being treated with a paste which contains the poison. And with this method, is the culprits especially target peregrine falcons because you cannot lure them down to a dead meat or to a meat bait. So we have a lot of peregrines being poisoned with these kinds of live poison baits, as well as some goshawks. This picture is from Cologne. And another case study from a poisoned eagle, because it's also a very recent case, and it's also a case from one of the Eurokite partners from the Institut für Zoo- und Wildtierforschung, from IZW. This case is still under investigation, but to make it short to you, it's a white-tailed seagull which is now being confirmed being poisoned with carbofuran, and it only could be found because it was tagged with a GPS by IZW. And shortly after the data showed that the bird did not move anymore, they were able to send somebody to the place, and who found the bird close to a bait, a meat bait, and both the bait and the bird, plus a third thing, which is a red kite, which has been found about 1 kilometer away from the eagle. They all, the three, the bait, the eagle, and the kite, have been confirmed to contain carbofuran. So this case is still under investigations, and a reward of 5,000 euro has been set up for information leading to the conviction of the one who did it. So I hope that next time we will be able to tell you more about this case. So now let's come to the part convictions and penalties, with only regarding to those cases from 2005 to 2021. So we have a total of 116 convictions, and among them are 64 convictions for a criminal offense. And these people had to pay normally. This is a normal court case in Germany, as you would expect. And so we had a total of 59 persons which actually have been sentenced to pay a penalty between 100 and 5,400 euros. This depends a little bit over in Germany on how much the people actually earn. So if you are a very rich person with a high monthly salary, you are going to pay much more than a pensioner, for example, who only receives a small rent. And of course, we have 45 persons which have been convicted, but actually they did not receive any severe sentences because according to German criminal law 153, para 153, the proceedings can be dropped if the state attorney and the court don't regard that this case has a large public interest, or if they say, for example, have the impression that the culprit, in the best case, is not a repeat offender, is significantly impressed by what has already been done to him in the course of the investigation, for example, house searches and other things. Still, they have to pay something, either to the state treasury or to NGOs, and in these 45 cases, the penalties ranged between 100 and 2,000 euros. And then the rest of the cases are public offenses, which is not a criminal offense, but still subject of penalties. Much more important are these data, which show us the conviction rate. So out of the 1,653 cases we have registered so far, 116 ended with the conviction of the trapper, of the person who did it, which is about 7%. So 7% of all known cases are being closed with the perpetrator identified. But you can see, if you watch at the various methods, you can see that the conviction rate varies greatly among the various methods. You can see that most of the convictions we have in Germany are trapping cases, because you say out of 468 trapping cases, nearly 20% have been closed with a conviction. And if you go to poisoning, you have even more cases than capture, but you have only 1 or 2 cases where you actually have a person which has been convicted. So here the conviction rate is just 0.5%. And then last but not least, we want to have a look at who is doing it, who profits from illegal raptor persecution. And from the 116 cases where I showed to you, where we have the perpetrator identified, we know in most of the cases what has driven them to do it. So 16% are unknown, so we cannot actually say. And then we have 36% of the cases are being pigeon fanciers who wanted to defend their pigeons. Then we have hunters, mainly small game hunters, who wanted to defend their pheasants and other small game. And we have poultry keepers, chicken and other small poultry. And then we have others. But as I can tell you, especially poultry and pigeon keepers, they are more than 50% of all cases together. And so these should be the prime targets of any awareness campaigns. The last thing I want to talk with you about are our proposals for a better enforcement of wildlife crime laws in Germany. As you can see from the statistics, there is still a lot of room for improvement, especially if you look at the conviction rate of poisonings and other methods. And yeah, one of the things we are proposing to the German government and to the German authorities since many years is the introduction of specialized police units, for example, like in Italy, like the Corpo Forestale and others, who ensure that the people who come to the crime scene, that the officers who come to the crime scene first, have specialized training. Because if not all legal and enforcement possibilities are exhausted, a lot of cases, yeah, we lose them at this stage already. Of course, the police need better training, and they need to conduct more own proactive enforcement efforts, especially in areas which are known black spots. And from the legal point of view, as you can see, if you see what's in the law and what is actually being in the verdicts, you know, it's still at the low range of the possibilities. So we also propose to introduce minimum fines, such as Malta did some years ago, and yeah, which led to a significant increase in the fines which actually had to be paid, and also in the deterrent effect, of course, then. Another thing which we are proposing is the ban of possession and sale of certain types of traps, which only can be used for illegal raptor persecution. And so we hope that these calls are being listened by the German government. And as far as we hear in the new version of the law, they are going to introduce such a ban. And the last thing which we would like to see is the stricter enforcement of the Chemical Act, which means a stricter control and regulation of the possession and probably black market trade in carbofuran and other insecticides, which are being banned since many, many years in the whole European Union, but for whatever reason are still widespread. Yeah. Here in our raptor persecution cases. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this was it. This is what we have prepared for you, and I hope you now have a much better impression of the situation of raptor persecution and enforcement here in Germany. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact us under the email below. As this is a pre-recorded presentation, you cannot do this directly. And at the end, I would like to send out a big thank you especially to Rainer and Hannah and to all the other staff members of the Eurokite project. And yeah, we hope to see you on the next conference soon. Bye-bye.
No, okay. A big thanks to Axel. Also, he cannot hear us.